Finland has been an extremely popular destination in the last few years. So much so that you may think that you already know a lot about this stupendous country. But today, me and Linda Philip would love to tell you more and then tell about the interesting places, the activities that you may not have heard of as regards Finland. My name remains Tony Ghana, and this is the Midday Show Live. Welcome on the show, Linda.
Thank you, too.
Why are you blushing already?
Because it's a good thing to blush.
You feel
you blush when you're happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Finland now you are blushing.
Of course. You know what it means to talk about Finland. You know what it means to talk about the safest country in the world.
Educate
you know
me.
what it means to talk about a beautiful
Suffocate
country.
me.
Do you know what it means to talk about a place
Tell
where
me
you
what
can go
I
for
don't
business?
know.
Please.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, it's
welcome to the
nice
show.
nice being with you on the show.
I know, as usual.
But the thing is, sometimes you try as much as possible to see if you can do away with me on this show, but then
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate.
we are match made in heaven.
Wow.
Yes.
You
Take
feel
it.
yourself.
Take
I
it.
leave it.
Take it or leave it.
I leave it.
That's the truth. So we intend talking about Finland, and Finland is actually a very interesting country.
Of course, true.
It's a country that has been there for years, right from time. A country that have gone through a lot of what's it called? Political crises. That have gone through a lot of development. They have established so many things as regards their culture, etiquette, and a lot of things. So these are the things that I would want us to chop. When I mean chop, we'll have to slowly pick them one by one and chop them. So tell me, what interests you about the Finnish people? I think that's the name they call themselves.
The Finnish people. It's just the fact that it's actually a happy country. Like when you talk about being a happy country, you realize that when you find yourself in Finland, like there's nothing to worry about. We always talk about different countries and what they do and what they don't want you to do as a visitor. But then when you talk about Finland, they welcome people a lot, and then they don't joke with family. That's one thing I like about them, or I love about them. And it's actually a safe country that when you find yourself there, you don't need to worry about anything. Most times when you want to travel, they tell you just need to be careful about a lot of things. You just need to take care of a lot of things. Don't just be careless. But then Finland is a place that you can actually visit and do any kind of business you want to do, a lot of things you want to do. But then I'm not talking about the bad things, because when you say a lot of things that you can do in Finland or in the country, people can think maybe you can just go there to steal, or you can just go there to do all sorts of things. Yes, but no, Finland is actually a place where you can go and do a whole lot of things that is going to be of interest to other people and even to the people in Finland. Then when you talk about the cost of living and all of that, in as much as it is a bit on the high side, but it is still affordable for you as a visitor, for you as a tourist, because when you find yourself there, you can do business with them, you can actually stay with them, and when they try to tell you this is what you're supposed to do, you should understand that they won't just deceive you into doing anything. And they hang out a lot, they eat a lot, they play games, they do all sorts of things, and they have a lot of weird things about them. When you talk about the high level of consumption of milk. Yes, and then coffee as well.
It's not weird now.
Yeah, when you talk about
there's this feeling you get, especially when you're a lover of milk. Like there's this feeling you get when you drink milk. You feel soft like Tony.
Please.
You feel soft.
Okay.
You feel welcome. You feel comfortable. That's the
there
feeling.
are a lot of people who don't like milk, and that's the truth. But then when you talk about that, it's weird, because you don't. Of course, you feel it is a normal thing for one to take milk.
I think the reason why it is weird for you is for the fact that it is an habit for them.
Yes,
virtually all the Finnish people, this is what they derive joy in doing. They derive joy in taking milk. But then it's not only milk. They also consume coffee a lot. Like it's going to be awkward, or it's going to be almost like a setting is going to be almost incomplete when they are having a discussion or conversing as friends, or having one hangout or the other without the inclusion of coffee. They value coffee a lot. They see it as something that has to be on the table whenever any gathering is going on, or probably is about to take place. They value some of these things because of the fact that it is their habits. They have been into such habit for a very long time. And when someone is addicted to something, when something has become your habit, you find it very difficult to let go of such habits. So I think it's a very good thing. and I feel it's something that I would also love to cultivate, in the sense that let me be a lover of milk, though not coffee, because I don't want to grow slimmer. I want to grow fresher and grow more enticing.
But at least you can still add milk to your coffee, because that's what they do more.
Please, I'm still talking.
Why are you feeling yourself?
Do you think it's easy to wear suits? I'm wearing suits.
I'm sure you're not sweating in there. I'm sure you're.
And one thing about the film is that they are famously the silent people.
True,
like they are
very
silent.
true.
They are silent in terms of like indulging one. Maybe you just see a faint person and probably are trying to engage the person in conversations and all of that. They wouldn't want it, or probably may not even give you that kind of response or vibe that you need. So sometimes you just go straight to business. If maybe you are asking for direction, or you're trying to make inquiry of one thing or the other, they'll go straight to the point and tell you. They don't have time to crack jokes, to make fun of something.
Really sociable.
No,
they're not sociable, but at
they
least
don't have
they
time
can...
for little talk or being nice. And if you hardly see a Finnish person. The word Finnish person is awkward for
people in Finnish. Because is more like a Finnish.
Yeah, that's the word for me. So it's not just going for it. It's not suitable. It's not sweet for me.
When you're saying things about the people in Finland, let's not say the Finnish people as it is.
Doesn't
They
sound
said that
for me.
actually their lifestyle is actually a good one. And they feel when you're out of your home, when they tell you away from home is good for them, but then when you are home is the best. They feel the safest at home. They're not really the sociable kind of people, but then they feel the safest at home. And then when they don't have to talk to anyone, if they are not in the mood, things are also very couple, and they are family centered. When you say they are family centered, it means that they prefer their family, like they love their family, they protect each other, they do all sorts of things just for each other. So then when you talk about going to Finland, then you know that you are ready for anything that is going to happen. When you talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, but then we're not saying it's going to be bad for you, because when you travel to Finland, when you find yourself in Finland, you have a whole lot of things to do for you to have fun. In as much as they're not really sociable with people outside, but at least they have maybe a little or more opportunity to talk to you and to even understand the kind of person you are and what you're there to do. Even if you're there for just maybe a couple of days or weeks or months or years, at least you have something to do. Their businesses and all of that, they will give you time to do anything you want to do. The Finland is most stable country in the world. That was one of the things I learned about. And then when you talk about being stable, the economy and all of that, and then they've developed the extent that you need to know a whole lot of things for you to do there. So then people in Finland are actually good people. They will protect you, in as much as they will first of all think of their families first, because it's more like family comes first. That is one thing I want everybody to know. Yeah, it's a common thing. Family comes first no matter what. But in some other places, most people will tell you, if you're a visitor, maybe they can just give you their attention and forget about family. But then the people in Finland will always tell you that family comes first. So you don't need to think you want to bring maybe you want to separate them or something, but no, they are actually lovable people. So then whatever it is you want to do, don't forget to find yourself in Finland and do one thing or the other. At least put a smile on someone's face.
True. And one thing about them is that don't see it very awkward or very rude of them not to say thank you to you, or probably they are trying to give you something and then you are probably like all being nice and like unnecessarily being nice. They don't value such. It's not as if they are rude, or it's not as if they are trying to
that's
kill
their
themselves,
way of
but
life.
that's
That's
their
more
way
like
of life.
a culture to them.
In fact, I think even the word please is hardly in their language. You don't even use it. They don't
but frequently use
polite. They don't frequent their usage of please every now and then. Like some people just like, sir, please can I,
or you say sorry, please, I want to be
like unnecessary please and being nice and all of this. So they don't have that
true.
time. All they are up to is, or all their mind is being all about is just tell me what you want. If it's the one I
and
can
they'll
do
be
for
polite.
you, I'll do for you. And
yeah,
they can be helpful. They can be very helpful. They can be very polite. Maybe you want to ask for some certain things or probably inquire about some certain things. They'll definitely give you everything that you want. But for them to be acting all nice and all
they don't
of
even
that,
fake it. They
they
can't
don't
fake it. That's one thing.
That's one thing they don't like. They don't like being pretentious about unnecessary things. They don't like it. They like being honest. And in fact, even if you tell a Finn person that he or she looks nice, let's use you say we shouldn't use the Finnish word.
Okay.
So if you see a Finn person and then the person is looking well dressed and all, and then you decide to compliment the person, if the Finn or the Finn, or the Finn, actually the Finnish person.
The Finnish person.
If the Finnish person feels that the person is not really up to the compliment you are giving, he or she will rather rebuke you at that start. I mean, at that point,
moment,
and tell you that no, you are trying to lie to me, you are trying to deceive me. But then, thank you, or better still, the person may not even say thank you, but just walk away from your presence. So that is to say that they like being honest, and even if they want to compliment you, they will make sure that the compliment they are trying to throw at you is worth it, and not just something for the what's the word though? No, not of faking, but just for eye servicing. They're not really for the fact of trying to eye service you or something, but for the fact that you really look it is what they are really being doing.
Yeah, another highly regarded virtue in Finland is punctuality.
Yeah,
they don't joke
like
with
that.
They love to be punctual. And then you as a visitor, if you're late to maybe a meeting, an appointment, or maybe anything that you're supposed to be with a Finnish person, if you don't, they said if you're late for some few minutes or seconds, then you can just apologize for being late. But then if you're there for like if you're late for like more than 15 minutes, then you have to explain. You have to give reasons. A good reason why you're coming late or anything like that. So then when you understand that it's actually a virtue of course it is. A lot of people don't even take their time as important as it is, because when you have, maybe let's say for instance, when you say you have an appointment for like maybe 1 p.m. and then you're there for like 2:30, now you're late, of course, and then you don't even feel bothered about it. But people in Finland will always tell you they take it serious, because they understand what it means to be late, and then so they want to keep it at that. So it's a virtue actually for you to keep to time. That is what they do. So then it's actually one thing that I think I've learned from them, because if you find yourself in Finland, then of course you should know you should be punctual at any given time. Whatever appointment you have with them, whatever meeting you have with them, anything you know you're going to meet anybody in Finland, you should be punctual with it.
You know, sometimes we are usually being, should I use the word, being adopted into the system of being late, or African time, like we usually call it, or like we fondly call it. Sometimes it's not really about what, or probably you going to a new environment with the mentality of what you are used to in your own society. Sometimes if you go out, you do what they are doing there, and if probably there are some slight differences in their way of speech, in their way of culture, in their way of doings, and all of those things, you try to blend in so that you will not be standing out unnecessarily. Sometimes it is good to stand out, but then unnecessarily it's no good. Or probably if you have some negative habits of which you feel your society it is common, or probably tends to be common in your society, when going out, you try as much as possible to make efforts to changing that mentality, changing that self of yours, so that you can easily blend in with that society or into that society, and then you will not give those that you are going there to meet a wrong impression about you, because the impression given about you can reflect back to the society that you are coming from. They will categorize everybody in that society that you are coming from to be the same thing. So sometimes you try to strike that difference so that people will see you as a very, should I say, someone that can adapt to things easily, or probably you give a good impression on all of that. And one thing that is interesting about these people is that they don't really like the fact that you go to their house and then you will not bring something like alongside with you. They like a gift or something. Like, to me personally, I feel it is even bad for you to go to someone's house without handing a gift or something to the person you are going to see. But do you do that? Don't ask me that kind of question.
No, if you feel it is actually rude or it's bad.
You ask me this question when we are gisting. But when we mean business, we have to talk business.
Okay, fine. But you really need to tell me though. Maybe after the show, you should tell me.
Have I visited you before?
Haven't you?
Okay. Didn't I bring something?
You brought nothing. Rather, you took from me.
Jesus. Didn't that you are tricking me? Okay.
If you have plans of visiting Finland, then you should understand that they have different gestures. When it has to do with maybe when you're greeting somebody in Finland, then just give him a handshake because you're not his family member. But then they said mostly you can hug, you can kiss on the cheek, but then it's mainly for family members and friends, close friends. So in case you're visiting Finland, please just have that back of your mind. You're not supposed to just meet somebody on the street and just give him a hug, or rather you'll be in trouble actually. But then you should actually learn about a lot of things.
Don't go and place a kiss on someone else's lips.
Whoa, that's going to be terrible
it's going
for
to
you.
be an offense.
Yeah, actually, but
they
really,
they don't like noise too.
they are true. They don't like.
They are
noise.
very quiet people. They don't want anything that will constitute unnecessary noise, unnecessary. Sometimes we human can be very lousy. We can be very noise making and all of that. But then
and again,
they don't like it.
If you visit anybody in Finland, please make sure you move your shoes by the
Very
door,
important.
because they said a lot of people have their own. They have the things they consider very important. When you go to a Finnish person's house, you understand.
Finish, yeah.
You understand that you're supposed to go with a present, at least no matter how little it is. It shows that you regard them. It shows that you're excited to be in this place. And then you have to take off your shoes. And don't forget to just give a handshake, except if they extend something different to you. So we really need to learn about a lot of things when you're visiting some countries, because you can go to a particular country and you don't know how it's been done, and they end up being in trouble. There's a lot of things that you decide to do. Maybe you can realize that in some countries, maybe when you see birds or maybe their pets, you can just play with them, and some of them you can't be rude to them. Like, normally, let's say for instance, I hate pets, especially dogs and all of that. And then maybe you go to someone's house, and then you realize that this person does a dog, and then maybe you're trying to kick the dog or something. I don't really hate dogs per se. I hate cats more. That's it. But then when you go to someone's house, you should learn some etiquette about some things that has to do with their rules in the house, so you just don't end up violating them. Because if you do that, you end up being embarrassed, and which is not what we all want. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed, you don't want to be embarrassed, so why not we just go through some certain things that we need to know about some particular countries, just like Finland.
True. And one of the activities that they are majorly being inclined into is e-sporting. They value esports a lot. You see ages of say 15 to 29, 30 being indulging or being engaged into sporting online. And I think that's one thing that it's everywhere, it's virtually everywhere, though, but not developed in some certain regions of the country or the world actually. But then you see young people engaging into sports, engaging into online stuff, online business, and online, like, this is one of the major activities that you easily see in the midst of the Finnish people. They indulge into this art a lot, in the sense that they spend almost every time indulging into sport. And you know how sometimes sports can be very interesting, especially when you are playing games, you are playing these peers and all of those things. They value it, and it sometimes can be time consuming. Before you know it, now it's already late in the night and all of that. So this is one of the major things that they do. They can go about their daily activities, daily business, daily school activities and all, but then when they come back home rather, they indulge into this habit of playing games, indulging into just to while away time, just have that feeling of not being bored and all of that. So this is one thing that they do not even during the daytime. I think all through the day. There's a way you can be so into a thing that you may not even know when the time is going, and when you're already deep inside time and all of that. So it's one thing that they do there.
Finland actually has the promised land of association. They are very active in a lot of things that they do. They don't joke with their businesses. They don't joke with work. They don't joke with anything that's going to bring interest to them. So then when you talk about being active, they said some few years ago women were actually more active in Finland then, and then when it comes to work activities, you realize they are actually active in doing it. They don't just waste their time. They don't just sit down and be like, okay, they don't procrastinate. Like, most times when you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, or maybe I'll do it later, I'll do it next, but then they just, once it's time to do this particular thing, they're ready to do it at that time. So it just be that they are done with this till later on and all of that. So then when you talk about being active, they always want to be active in a lot of things, either in business or maybe doing anything online, maybe in the house or at work, anywhere they find themselves, they just want to be active in doing it. So then when you find yourself in Finland, you really need to understand a whole lot of things. And you really need to do things that is going to be interesting to yourself and even to other people. Don't just go there and dull yourself and realize, no, you just went there for nothing and then you're coming back, or you don't even know what you want to do. If you want to ask anybody anything in Finland, just be polite to the person. He's ready to give you all the answers you need, but then he doesn't want to associate with you for that long. wrong, because it's more like they're in a hurry to go home to meet their family members, their loved ones, because they feel like that's the best place to be at a particular moment. So then it's something for us to learn that family should come first no matter what. Wherever it is you find yourself, just realize that you're supposed to love one another, you're supposed to do what is right. So then it's not just in Finland, but rather in other countries that you find yourself.
True. One thing that they value a lot is art and all this handicraft and all of these things. They value it a lot. They try as much as possible to indulge into something. It's not everybody that is really good upstairs. It's not everybody that education is actually meant for, and it's not everybody that have the opportunity of being educated. But then if you find yourself in an environment where you are not educated, or even if you are educated but then the job is not forthcoming, what do you do? Of course, you engage into all this handicraft and all of these things, and this is one of the major things that you do there. In fact, you see the percentage of about, say, 63% of the citizens there being indulging into crafts and all of these things. You see women of middle age, even younger age and all of that, even men too, being into handicraft, being into handicraft, being into art, being into things that will fetch money, petly and all of those things. So I think as someone that wants to grow, you try as much as possible to indulge into something that you can make your hands to produce, so that you can boast out afterwards that, okay, this thing was produced by my own hands, or probably it was produced by me, and look at what I was able to make out. These are some of the things that are boastful. You can make proud of what you've done, and this is one thing that they find pride in doing, even if majority of them are not really popular, are not really poor, but then they find it very exciting into doing things that would bring or fetch money, or things that they can do at their leisure time. You see, even if people come back from work, they still find time to indulge into their artworks or crafts or all of these things that would probably fetch petty money in order to or supplement what they probably earn at the end of the month. So this is one thing, or this is one of the activities that they indulge into, in order not to make the day boring, or probably make the day wasteful and all of that. So I think this is one thing that is very nice, and something that one should also cultivate as an habit, because you are growing yourself. You're not only growing yourself, but you are even trying. You could even impact, or rather, it's a way of impacting on the society, or impacting, or probably making job opportunities to those that are looking for work. So this is one thing that grows an economy. This is one thing that grows a country, and this is one thing that grows an individual too. So I think it's something of emulation, actually.
Yeah, almost 25% of 18 to 64-year-old people actually indulge into this act and crafts and all these things. You understand that if you're up to this particular age 64, then it means that most of them, even when you don't go to school, but then you get yourself involved in doing all these things, it's more like you're learning. Like some people will tell you, I don't need to go to school, I just need to go and learn this particular thing. Then it's something for us to learn, to understand that when you find yourself in Finland, just try to learn something, no matter how little, no matter how small that thing is. Just be able to learn something, so you're able to come back and be able to tell people this was what you were able to learn, or this is what you were able to do when you travel to this particular country. They don't joke with all sorts of things. So there is one thing for you to realize, that when you find yourself in Finland, just the way they do, they said, you find yourself in Rome, you live like the Romans. So then why not do the same thing? If you find yourself in a particular country, why not learn one or two things that they do, so you actually feel into it? Don't just find yourself saying, I'm a visitor after all, I'm going to leave, but then
going back or something.
When you find yourself in a particular country, why not just live like them? Anyways, we've said a lot, and
time bound. All right, let's go. Let's go on a short break before we continue. Before we dive into the interesting part of the country, like the tourist attractions, food, and all, please stay glued to that fine cushion of yours. Don't touch that remote, and we will be right back. Welcome back, and it is still the Midday Show live on Equa TV International, and my name remains Tony Ghana, and on the studio I still have Linda.
So of course you still have me.
before, where do you want to go? You can't go
it's
anywhere.
good
You have to
anyways
be
to
here.
still have you
So
here.
before we actually went on the break, there's some other things that we were supposed to have said, things like the tourist attraction, because you don't just go to a country without not knowing the places that you're supposed to visit, like the interesting things that you're supposed to see, so that when you come back you'll be able to tell stories, you'll be able to tell that, okay, this so place, when I went there I saw this, I saw that, this is how things are done, and all of those things. So it is very, very paramount that you visit a new place and then you try as much as possible to see other interesting places that are therein, so that you come back and tell stories. And one of these places is actually a fortress. They call it the Somelina Fortress, which is a very ancient fortress. It has been there over, let's say, the 19th or 18th century. So this is a place that has been preserved. It has been looked after by some persons in order to, encourage me to invite tourists, and as well to make people be out by the fact that, okay, this place has been there for over centuries, and yet to be able to maintain it. And judging by how it looks, you will see that it's very, very beautiful. Yeah. It's sight attractive. It's sight, like it's captivation, like it's captivating. Actually, it's a place that you would love to be a place that you love to even spend, if possible, eternity into. So, so it's a very nice place, a very nice place to be, and a place that you can easily just go and take pictures and then just enjoy yourself, and then you come back, and if possible you can even choose to stay there, just like I said, till eternity. It's all boiling down to your own choice, actually.
Anyways, it's actually interesting for you to find yourself in this particular place, because when you talk about visiting a country, you should understand that you have to go for a lot of activities, like for you to visit some of their tourist attractions, some of the places where you can have fun. Like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. We're not just saying that you should just go for the business or just do the work, or just let it not just be all work, but at least when you find yourself in the country, try to explore some certain things. So then this particular side attraction is more like a place where when you find yourself, you want to enjoy the peace that is there. You want to enjoy the color alone, like when you see the green color and then you realize the blue waters and all of that, like it is something that, like, the peace that comes with it, you just realize you're just,
you have that feeling of,
do you understand,
of staying close to water.
Yeah,
the winds of water, like the waves and everything. Like it's a place to die in. Honestly, you just die and you wish you open your eyes and your eyes is in heaven. Like it's a very nice place.
Have you been to heaven before? How do you know it's
I've seen it in my dream.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's interesting to know, because that's actually a beautiful place to go to. That's actually a beautiful place to just go and stay. We have another tourist attraction, which is the Kopatori. It's actually a market square, and is that the Helsinki Harbour is an integral part of the city. Of course, we talked about the Helsinki, which is more like the capital, which is and then it's actually one of the places where when you find yourself, you can do all the important landmarks, you overlook all some other things, and then you do all the things you want to do, because it is also a popular gathering point with an open air market, local farmers, people who just go there to exchange a lot of things, maybe food producers, fishermen who sell directly from their boats. So you may actually catch fragrance of salmon cooking and cedar planks, like a lot of things that you can do in that place. Of course, it's more like a marketplace that we said, and then so if you find yourself in that historic place in 1889, market hall shelters more food vendors, but the outdoor market is a year-round tradition protected by traps and tents in the winter. So of course, if you find yourself in that place, if you want to buy anything, if you want to exchange anything, be it food, fish, anything you want to do, of course it's a marketplace. So find yourself there. That is actually an important place for you to be. Of course, when you talk about food, when you talk about getting some things for yourself, of course that's a place for you to go to.
And actually it's a place that happens to be like it's a market that is open every day, like all through the year is open. You can every now and then go there, even in the middle of the night, though I'm not sure.
Middle of the night, I can't follow that.
So it's a market that is actually open to everybody.
Yeah,
you can go there and buy whatever thing you want to buy, especially for those that are into art and craft and all of those things. You can get whatever thing that you want to get there and all of that. And for the fact that even those inside canoe ships and all of those people, like they sell too.
Sell
like they have their stores,
directly.
they have their stores being packaged or being packed inside their ships and canoes. But then you can still sell them out. You don't have necessarily look for a space to probably to bring out your commodity and keep. But then you can do all of these things even inside your canoe. So I think it's a very interesting thing. Having sell fish and all of this water stuff inside the canoe. It's a very interesting thing. And then one other place that we have there in Finn is the Rovaniemi and the Arctic, which is a place that is usually being clouded by snow. It's a place that is extremely cold. You see snow, and you see the place being clouded by snow. And when you see places like that, all you see is white. Like you see everywhere being covered in snow. And then you'll be wondering, those that stay in this particular region of the country, how do they survive because of the extreme cold that they experience every now and then?
That's why they like coffee.
That's why they like coffee, I think, because of the cold and all of these things. But then I think for the fact that they are there, or they've been there, of course, this habit of them blending into that environment, or that environment, definitely would have been a thing of habit for them, because they know how they should have known how to survive there. So it's a place that you can as well, as a tourist or as a visitor, you can go and experience for yourself, so that you can come back and either tell stories of the place, or better still, take pictures and come back and show off that, okay, this is how the place is, and this is how things are done there. This is how people are being clothed whenever they are feeling cold, or whenever snow is dropping. Like, you can just tell stories. It's not about just going there and see things. You ask people questions. How are things done here? How do you people survive? How do you eat? What are the things just try to know a lot of things. Just go and see things only, but ask questions. They are polite enough, or they will be polite enough to answer any questions that you are trying to ask them. And which is the reason why you are going there, because you don't just go there just to feed your eyes, but then to gain knowledge, to impact more knowledge on yourself, so that you will be able to come back and have memories of these things when you are bored, or when you are on your dying bed.
Yeah, the Rovaniemi is actually the center of a vast natural area of Russian rivers for canoeing, swimming, or fishing, with trails alongside them by hiking or cycling,
those
and all of that.
Yeah,
those are some of the activities you can do. The city is best known as the place where you can actually go. They said you can actually visit or see when they are there. Of course, so then if you're actually excited about Finland, there are a lot of things you should do. There are a lot of things you should experience. There are a lot of things you should actually talk about and do in that place. And then when you talk about the tourist attractions, we have the Helsinki churches, and they say one of the best places for you to visit is the churches in Helsinki. Of course,
the building is massive.
The heart
it's
of
cute.
Finland.
It's beautiful. It's sight captivating. Like, this is a place that you'll be wondering the inspiration behind such structure. Like, it's a very, when I was going through this place, like when I was going through the pictures and the videos, and I was like, wow. Like, did God came himself?
Thank you. When I was talking about, when I was saying,
so you are cutting me. You're cutting
because
me.
I am saying it's actually a beautiful place for you to visit. Of course, where else do you want to visit if not the church? Of course. So then, when you find yourself in Finland, please try and visit the Helsinki church.
So are you saying if I should go to Finland today, the church should be the first place
I'm not saying it should be, but of course,
no,
because it's more like they said it's one of the best places.
Okay.
Like I said, it is one of the best places for you to visit. So I'm not saying it has to be the first place for you to visit, but at least it should be one of the places you need to visit to experience what they do there and what is happening there and all of that. They said even whatever it is you do for visitors and all of that, they still go to these places. So of course, as a visitor, when you find yourself in Finland, try to visit the Helsinki churches. At least you will learn one or two things, and you will see beautiful buildings and all of that. So
the church is not even one. There are a lot of them.
churches, of course.
It's like they are up to 3 or even more than. You see churches that have been built in a very outrageous way, and you'll be wondering the inspiration behind this kind of insight and all of that. But then it's just for the work of art, and one thing about art is something that should attract someone, something that should entice someone. I mean, entice someone, all of that. And then we have this ghost kind and a ride dog sled. I think this is one thing that is interesting, because of the fact that this is one thing that is interesting, and for the fact that you will be going and you'll be skying on top of dogs, or probably dogs skying you around, and then you moving you and all of those things. Like, it's a feeling that I would want to experience, for the sake of, if not for anything, for the sake of clarity, for the sake of having that feeling, for the sake of, okay, I am being into this I'm into this this kind thing. I just want to have that feeling. It's just like when you are on the snow or something, animal is dragging you with a lot of
Yeah,
speed and a lot of,
I just want
you
to
know,
imagine that. Like, anyways, the experience is the best teacher, of
true.
course. Whatever it is you see or you hear, you just need to experience it. Like for the dogs to be leading you and they're dragging you out in the
People like
snow
you that don't
and
like
all of
dogs.
that.
I wonder how
Yeah,
you.
I don't know how that is going to be, but it's going to be interesting. I know. Of course, we have the shop and browse in Helsinki Design District. This is actually a place where you can actually stay to see create together. You can create a whole lot of things in the central neighborhoods and whatever it is. Like in this particular place, whatever it is you want to do, they have studios, galleries, a lot of like you can just go there to see maybe pictures. You can just go there to snap pictures and even do a whole lot of things. And then whether you are shopping or you're just looking, a few hours in those neighborhoods is a chance to experience this vibrant facet of Finnish arts and culture. Of course, it's actually another place for you to visit. We have a whole lot of places.
But I'm being conscious of time. But then we have foods like we have rice spice, we have red bread, we have bread cheese, we have fish pie. Like all of these foods are things that is worth tasting. Things that you don't just go there and do whatever thing you want to do, but then indulge into their food so that you know how tasty it tastes like. And one thing that strikes me about their food is for the fact that the majority of their food is more of like small chops.
Yeah.
You hardly see food that is being prepared with a lot of effort and all of those things. All you see is just buns, bread, and all this fast food thing. That's one of the things, or those are the kind of food they actually eat. I think it's the white man way, so I'm not surprised.
Actually, so then we have the blueberry pie. It said in the summer months, Finnish forests are prepared with blueberries, the healthier Nordic cousin of the blueberry. Other bakeries, other things that you can just eat. Like we said, it's more like the small chops and all of that. But then, if you find yourself in Finland, why not just try one thing or the other? At least you can eat. Don't just travel and then not eat anything. At least you need to taste something. At least you need to eat something. You can stay for like maybe let's say 7 days and you want to tell them that you're not going to eat anything. Of course you need to eat. So when you find yourself in Finland, make sure you have fun. Make sure you visit the Helsinki churches. Make sure you go for hiking. Make sure you go swimming. Make sure you visit a whole lot of places so that you can just enjoy yourself.
You know, as much as I would want us to talk more about this Finland and these Finnish people actually.
Finnish people actually.
We don't have time, and I would want to advise our viewers that sometimes you don't just be restricted to everything that we say here. Sometimes you try to make inquiry yourself. There are a lot of things that we are not saying on this show. Like I would say 50 or 40% of things that we say here are things that you're supposed to get the 60% of to complement or supplement it. So sometimes don't be restricted to everything we say there, but then go out there and see things for yourself. Browse, know more about some of these places so that it will interest you to go, and then you know more about their daily activities. And this brings us to the end of this show. Please make sure you keep a date with us next week, same time, same station. Have a blessed day.